You caught us during dinner.
Yep.
Excuse me.
So if you hear munches, or if I do this, it's because I don't want you to see me chewing.
Guess what day today? Guess what today is? You gotta go ahead and choke on that one.
Guess what today?
Guess what today is?
Guess what day of the week it is?
Guess what day of the week it is? Come on, guess.
I know what day of the week
It's Friday. That's right. It's Friday.
Obviously, you don't know.
Yes, it's Friday. Well, on every Friday we try to do a Books and Brew here on Arcane Focus. Hi, I'm Mike. Join with me is Amber. During Books and Brew, we essentially have ourselves a bit of a drink. I have myself some coffee.
I have coffee, alcoholic kombucha. I have a lot of shit on my desk, so I apologize. So if you hear a crash in the middle of the stream,
It's gonna happen.
that's me. I got rice cakes.
Let me turn on the...
I got pokey or poke, whatever the fuck. I got raw fish. I have a D&D journal that's also filled with rice cakes. It's Post-it and like 5 pounds of dice.
It's a lot of dice. This is what I use for my... Like, when it comes to D&D, this is my dice. I mainly use this. And if
You also have a dice bag that's also probably at least more than a pound.
I was gonna say, but when it comes to big monsters, I usually bring out the big boy.
So...
But what is Books and Brew? Books and Brew is essentially our talk show where we talk about anything that comes to mind, whether it has to deal with D&D monsters, subclasses, races, items,
any of those source books
any of the source books back there. And by the
Underneath my
way,
hand.
if you're watching right now on Twitch, please give us a follow. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and let those notifications go on. I hate doing that, but I found that it actually works in practice.
Subscribe, like, and follow all the things. Please.
It sucks to hear that, but yes, it does work. Telling people to do
suck
things.
to hear it.
I don't like being that person, that stereotypical YouTuber. Hey man,
We're not on YouTube.
smash that. Yes, we are.
Oh, we are on YouTube.
Smash that like button.
No.
Mm-mm.
But we appreciate the likes and the
Yes.
follows and
Yes.
all the little bits and stuff because it adds up and it allows us to do more things. So.
Absolutely. Well, guess what we're talking about today?
Rice cakes.
Ooh, do you have some?
Yeah.
You
That's
gonna
how
share?
No.
Well, then we're
You
talking about
have
the fighter.
rice in your bowl.
Then we're talking about the fighter. The fighter, in my opinion, or at least in most people's opinions when it comes to D&D and starting out, is sort of the beginner class for anyone who's just dipping their toes into D&D when it comes to choosing a class.
Unless you're me, apparently.
Why is that? Honestly, it's because the fighter, on paper, is very simplistic. You have access to all the weapons, you generally only use 1 or 2, and you fight, shoot, and that's all you do. You are the fighter. It's kind of in your name. You fight. You're not there to cast spells, you're not there to wild shape, you're not there to twin spell with sorcerer points, messing with evocations, or swapping out spells like a cleric or druid.
I just want to make the counter argument that anything is hard in D&D if you haven't done it before. Because I feel like,
Sure.
And we've said this with John from Almost Heroes before, like I always feel like when we do one-shots and I haven't played that type of character before or that class before, it's very much like your mom dropping you off at school and be like, hurry up, get out, roll. And you're like, okay. So, I mean, like, I just played, an Eldritch Knight, which is a type of fighter, and it was still very much drop out and roll. So I feel like the more you play D&D, maybe you'll get better acclimated to that concept.
Absolutely.
But, like, I'm always definitely a spellcaster. I still always have some kind of magic just because I like it.
Well, the reason why, and yes, I agree with you that all classes jumping into it can be difficult in their own rights. However, when it comes to choosing a class, like you've never chosen a class before, this is your first time dipping your toes into D&D, generally it's a fighter that the beginner goes to because it's a very simplistic idea to play a fighter.
I just went with what sounded cool.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now, not your choice.
No, I know.
I understand yours, but no, you keep reading it, but I'm saying not your choice, but generally a fighter is seen as the most beginner-friendly class out there. And I wanted to tell people that, yes, it's very easy to get into. It's a very easy concept, but there are numerous ways to make that makes fighter way more than just a beginner class.
You still feel like it's looked at that way? Because
Yes.
I don't feel like it.
It absolutely still, within the community, it's still looked at as the most bare basic class you can play as. Because if let's say you know nothing about D&D.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much in the
any
name.
individual who has never played the game knows what a wizard is. They get the idea. They've seen storybook, they've seen movies and read storybooks where a wizard casts some spells and they go, "Oh, magic." Okay.
Yeah.
Then they hear, "Oh, barbarian." Yeah, all right, Conan the Barbarian, I get you. All right, someone who's like usually shirtless, very brawny, attacks with a giant axe. I get the idea. And then you start going, a druid, a ranger, a warlock, a sorcerer, and they're like, whoa, 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 what is all this?
Yeah.
What is an artificer? And then you go, and a fighter. I know what that is. It's a dude who comes in and fights. Exactly. That's why the fighter is still seen as a very bare basic class.
I feel like I feel like they've added to it. I'm retarded right now, don't mind me. And I don't use retarded in the way people think it's offensive. I use it as me being stupid. But because Mike always tells me hard R.
Moving on.
But I always feel like there's plenty of ways to quote unquote spice it up. Like you're not just some dude with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just too simplified is what I'm trying to get at.
No, it presents itself. Wizards of the Coast presents the fighter as a very bare basic, like the idea, the concept, and just the name fighter lets you know that it's very easy to get into, but they've added so much abilities and subclasses that it makes it diverse enough where it becomes interesting. And I should at least talk about some of the abilities and powers that you get as a fighter without even getting into a subclass.
It's probably the least expensive unless you're beefing up your armor and your weaponry over time. 'Cause everybody else got fucking components.
I would say a
shit.
monk is the least expensive. You don't need any money for armor or weapons. You are the armor and the weapons, so that's the cheapest.
That's true.
So when it comes to fighters at the very beginning, first level, you get Second Wind, which essentially means you can fight even more. As a bonus action, you can roll 1d10 plus your fighter level, and you'll heal that much as a bonus action. You get hit in the middle of combat, it's your turn, heal again, and keep hitting. You are the fighter. You will fight. In addition to that, you get a fighting style, meaning you get to choose a particular way that you fight. Whether that is you like to do ranged, you can do archery, which gives you a +2 to damage and rolls when it comes to long range attacks. You can do dual wielding. I think there's a bunch like great weapon fighting, defense. You can become more protective. Blind fighting, throwing fighting, two-weapon fighting, unarmed fighting, superior techniques, protection, course. There's so many different.
So, Great Weapon Master, is that just a feat?
Great Weapon Master is a feat. Great Weapon Fighting is a fighting style.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm getting mixed up with.
So, by first level, you're kind of already choosing what type of fighter you're going to be.
You're a little beefcake.
You definitely are. By second level, you get a thing called Action Surge. This is something that only the fighter gets. Second Wind is also another feat or ability that only the fighter gets. Fighting style also goes into the ranger. But moving on, Action Surge means you get as not even bonus action. You could just say action surge, and you get another action. Generally, when it comes to D&D, you have an action, bonus action, reaction. For a fighter, your action is to attack. You get one attack per round at this level. Action surge, you attack again. And
so you get Action Surge immediately?
You get it at level 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get a level 2. And Action Surge is so dangerous when the fighter starts leveling up. By third level, you get to choose your martial archetype, and this is the subclasses. We're not going to get into them just yet because there are so many more things that comes to the fighter. By fourth level, and I generally don't talk about 4th, 8th, 12, the 4 levels, because that's your ability score improvement levels, where you can up your strength, your dexterity, your constitution. or select a feat. Sorry. The
You
fighter.
did feats.
The fighter is the only one that gets more ability score improvement options. They don't just get it at 4, 8, 12, and 16. They get it at 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, and 19. So when it comes to fighter, you could be really good at fighting, or really beefy, really dexterous, really strong. You can even be intelligent if you want to, and that definitely sits in line with a couple of subclasses that the fighter gets.
I was gonna say, I've yet to see an intelligent one, unless like they're a general or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Again, that's just who I view, so I mean, that
True.
doesn't mean that there's not smart ones, but I'm just saying.
I can give you
Me
one
pers-
example.
me
I can give you
person-
an example of a smart fighter that you know. Percy.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. His gun jams an awful lot, though. Like, I feel like that's okay.
rules.
I mean, I know, but I'm just like if they were asking me, what do you remember about Percy? His smart-ass attitude, his money, and his guns always fucking jam.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just like, dude, we need to work that rule a little better.
So that's by 4th level, and of course I sort of covered a few of them. You get a lot more ability and score improvements, and so that means your fighter can have a lot more feats, can be a lot more diverse, and a lot more customizable options. By 5th level, you get to do what they call extra attack. You can attack twice. If you take the attack action with a martial weapon or like a longbow weapon, something along like range or melee, you can attack twice as an action. So you can attack, action surge, attack. You could attack 4 times. It's pretty good. This is why the fighter is a fighter. He will fight your ass. There's not. I think by 9th level is where you get sort of another universally accepted, or at least universally given fighter ability, and that's Indomitable. Indomitable is actually pretty good. I've used it plenty of times as Quinn, and whenever you fail a saving throw, regardless of what it is, you can use an Indomitable feat. You can use one of it, and you can reroll. So if you fail something, it even tells you if you fail. Your DM says you fail this, you can go Indomitable. I reroll.
Wait, you only get that once per long rest?
You
right?
do. You get only once. Well, actually, it's a good question.
Alright.
No, that's fine. It's actually a really good question. Indomitable, you get it. Yes, once per long rest. And the funny thing is, that's kind of it when it comes to universal fighter abilities. As you start to level up, you actually get more usage. So by 11th level, you can attack 3 times as an action. At 13th level, you can have 2 uses of Indomitable. By 17th level, you have 2 uses of action surge and 3 uses of Indomitable. And by 20th level, you can attack 4 times, per attack action. So by 20th level, you can attack, action surge, attack, and then the next round, since you have 2 uses of action surge, you can attack, you can do it all over again. In 2 rounds, you can do 16 attacks.
Kill that guy dead.
Yes. So they are good at what they do, which is fighting. And even when they fail, they have 3 uses of Indomitable if they choose to use it. It's a quite useful thing. So I'm going to ask this to you, Amber. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of different archetypes. What sounds interesting to you? What do you want to know about? There is the Arcane Archer, the Baronet, the Battle Master, the Cavalier, the Champion, the Echo Knight, the Eldridge Knight, the Sai Warrior, the Rune Knight, and the Samurai.
Well, I know some of those. And I don't want to get to the Rune Knight because of what I am yet.
Okay, no worries.
What the hell's a Baronet? That sounds like after a weapon.
Let's go ahead and read out what it says here. Baronet is A baronet is a knight who inspires greatness in others by committing brave deeds in battle. The mere presence of one in a hamlet is enough to cause some orcs and bandits to seek easier prey. They don't want to deal with your ass.
I don't know how to deal with their ass.
So essentially, it's also known. The baronet is also known as the Purple Dragon Knight. But again, it's just a code name that's given to him in Sword Coast, which is sort of where this came from. The best way to summarize a baronet is you give your fighter abilities to others.
Oh, kind of like the shared burden thing? Like you're sharing what you have.
Kinda. You're on the right concept, which I like. You have an ability called Rallying Cry, which you get at 3rd level. When you use your second wind feature, you can choose up to 3 creatures within 60 feet of you that you're allied with. Each one of them regains hit points equal to your fire level. So when you second wind, when you heal yourself, you can then heal others depending on your fighter level.
I guess that's if you want somebody to kick some ass and then you don't have a cleric.
Exactly. It's a very low heal. Like, let's say you're level 5, you heal 3 people 5 hit points.
Hey man, that's all you need to get up off the ground.
It's true. It's very true. By 7th level, you have Royal Envy. Envoy, excuse me. You gain proficiency in the Persuasion skill. And your proficiency is doubled for any ability check that uses Persuasion. So essentially, you are really good at... The way they have it here is that kings of high standings are expected to conduct themselves with grace. So you are a little more royal. You can handle yourself in conversation a little better.
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like you're a general or something.
Yeah, essentially you're kind of commanding. You're a commander, and you have to be persuasive when you're leading.
More like negotiating.
Or negotiating, exactly. No one else is gonna make that peace treaty. The king's not gonna go out there in the field. You are. By 10th level, you have a thing called Inspiring Surge. When you use your action surge feature, you can choose one creature within 60 feet of you that is allied with you, and that creature can make one additional melee or range attack with its reaction, provided that it can see or hear you. And then when you get to 18th level, you can choose 2 allies. So you basically give everyone an additional attack. It costs their reaction, though, which is kind of weird.
That is kind of weird. But I mean, like what I do is a reaction too, so. I mean, not the ability, but the negate part.
Yeah. And last, I'm going to butcher this. It's the Bull Rock. Beginning as 15th level, you can extend your benefit of the Indomitable feature to an ally when you decide to use the Indomitable to re-roll an Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma saving throw, and you aren't incapacitated. You can choose one ally within 60 feet of you that has also failed its saving roll at the same exact time, and you can allow it to make another re-roll. So again, it's a lot of sharing. You share the heal, you share the action surge, and you share the Indomitable. Very much a support fighter, right?
Yeah, but you can still kick ass.
I mean, good way to... I thought about a good way to change the idea of the baronet. It's like a war medic.
Yeah.
They've been trained. They can heal you. They can protect you. They still can kick your ass, though. Let's go in order now. Let's choose the Arcane Archer, because I heard you go, ooh, when I talked about that one.
Because it sounds fancy.
An Arcane Archer studies a unique elven method of archery that weaves magic into attacks and produces supernatural effects. To summarize this and all together, you are very much Legolas, combined with...
I'm glad you know who that is.
Combined with like the Green Arrow and Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of say it sounds like it's a mix between like a ranger, because I mean, like Laura's character in Critical Role, like she's an archer basically, but she's a ranger. But like her thing is she does a crazy amount of damage with that bow, so that's why I'm like, kind of sounds like they're in between concepts there.
Well, it's widely accepted that the ranger is a mixture between a fighter, a rogue, and a druid.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because, as if you remember, Axalia, she had
Hunter's Mark.
She had Hunter's Mark, which is very much a ranger thing. She had a multi-attack, which as well as the archery fighting ability, which is a fighter's thing. And she also had Healing Word, or Cure Wounds, which is very much a druid thing.
Or a cleric.
Or a cleric, but it's very much centered around animals. She also had an animal companion.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Arcane Archer, it is very widely accepted that it is the weaker of the fighter. It's one of the weaker fighting classes.
That's fucked up.
A lot of people also say the champion is kind of weak as well, and I kind of agree on that one. But it is agreed that the Arcane Archer is kind of lacking. And there's a reason for that. But we'll get into it. At 3rd level, you learn some magical theory or some secrets of the nature because you are trained in this elven martial art. And you gain proficiency in the Arcana or the Nature skill, and you learn
Prestidigitation.
Thank you. That or Druid Craft as a cantrip. So immediately you get that. In addition, you also you have access to what they call Arcane Shot. And there are a few Arcane Shots that you can choose from. Once per turn, when you fire an arrow from a short bow or long bow as a part of your attack action, you can apply one of these arcane shots to that arrow. You decide the option when the arrow hits, not when you roll. So, essentially, you can't say, "Oh, I apply this arcane thing, and you miss," and you go, "I just used it up." No, it applies.
Oh, it has to hit first.
It has to hit first, and you can go, "Now I activate it." The reason why this thing is your entire subclass is centered around this arcane shot. The reason why it's kind of lackluster is by 8th level, you have 8 uses. I mean, sorry, by 20th level, you have 8 uses. And they all replenish, I believe, at a long rest. Let me double check. Oh, long or short rest. But let's say you're going through by 20th level, you're going through a gauntlet of things. You're going to use up 8 shots very quickly because you're a fighter. You can shoot multiple times. Which is why it's kind of seen as very lackluster, because you can use up that 8 and then you have to wait an hour. I'll get into what type of shots you have, but we'll get into the very end. At 7th level, you get the ability to fuse magic into arrows, making every attack you make with a long or short bow magical. Curving shot, in addition to this magical arrow, you have a curving shot. When you make an attack roll with a magic arrow, with your arrows, because all your arrows are magic, and you miss, you can use a bonus action to re-roll the attack and against another creature, a different one, within 60 feet of the original target. So if you miss, it goes and it hits the friend.
That's not bad.
That's actually really cool, yeah. In 15th level, you have Ever Ready Shot. Your magical archery is available whenever battle starts. If you roll initiative and you have no uses of your arcane shot, you gain 1 use of it. See, and that's 15. That's at 15th level. You should have something way cooler than that. But
maybe they were just trying to make it an in-between class.
I guess it kind of
was like, well,
I guess so.
If you don't want to be a ranger, you could be this.
You do have some really cool arcane shot options. I'll give it that. You have a thing called Banishing Arrow. When you hit a creature, it has to make a charisma saving throw or be banished.
That's cool. It's probably useful.
Beguiling Arrow. When you hit a creature within, and let's see here, the target must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you. It's like a...
So you're fucking Cupid?
You're kind of Cupid, aren't you?
Shot me in the ass and now I'm charmed.
Right? Bursting Arrow. You draw from the School of Evocation and the arrow detonates on hit. Immediately after the arrow hits a creature, all targets and creatures within 10 feet of it they take 2d6 force damage. By 18th level, they take 4d6. I guess. That's still low for...
Considering I can do that with a 1st level spell, For a cleric?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, if I hit, it's 4d6. But
Oh, sorry, go on.
well, I just feel like they tried to level you out. They tried to humble the fighter with this one.
I think what they did is that they had a good concept of let's make it all about archery and long range, but they severely misunderstood like they should have given it more uses, you know.
Excuse me.
Maybe it doesn't take an hour to make more arrows.
Yeah, they could adjust it. I feel like for the 15th level slot, that's not that much of a buff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know not every class has like a crazy ability at that level, but it's normally something, even if it is smaller, it's still pretty good. Like, it's still something to be like, oh, well, no one else has that.
Yeah.
Like, that one's kind of meh. Like, okay, that's cool, but I mean, you're 15, like,
And I think the way Wizards of the Coast explained it is that when you hit 15th level, you are considered almost godly.
Yeah.
You know, because
you made it this far.
you did.
Without dying. Or being resurrected, whatever.
I'm going to go ahead and do a lightning round of the other arrows. There's Enfeebling Arrow. If you fail a con save,
That's pretty good.
You get some extra necrotic damage. Grasping Arrow, you basically have vines around you and you are immobilized. Piercing Arrow, that gives you sort of an ethereal quality, and it passes through objects, ignoring cover, and kind of like it just is like a ghost arrow. It'll go through cover and everywhere else just to hit the target.
I mean, that's a good thing if, like, you're fighting a boss and he's behind fucking cover and nobody's hitting his ass.
Right through it. Seeking Arrow, the way it describes it is use divination magic, and you can guide your arrow as long as you saw the creature within the past minute. The arrow will fly towards the creature, hitting it as long as you hit.
That reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy.
It essentially is. So as
yeah.
long as you saw the creature within a minute, you can go, I know where he went around that corner. I saw him go that way. Go get him. And lastly, there's Shadow Arrow. If they fail Wisdom save, they are unable to see anything further than 5 feet away from where they stand.
So you can use any of these for the 8 arcane shots you have, or you can only use 1 per long rest or short rest?
Well, let's see here.
Because I was like, that sucks. I mean, if you can use all these, you're kind of OP for your 8 shots. But then, I mean, if you can only use 1, then you know.
See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 different arrows here. Arrow types. You can only choose 6 of them by the time you get to level 20.
Just be like per day.
You have 8 uses per long rest.
Okay, yeah.
But it doesn't mean you get to use all 8 because you only get to choose 6. See, it's kind of very limiting, isn't it?
Well, I feel like if you had all 8, you might be super OP.
I mean, if you're still limited by using 8 a day, you're still kind of limited.
I don't know. I've seen people do like crazy shit with little to nothing for abilities. Just depends on your imagination.
Do you remember Inosuke?
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Inosuke was Steve's character back in our non-stream game, and he played essentially a samurai, but he didn't play a samurai subclass. He played a battle master.
But a battle master that thought he was a samurai. I mean, that character-wise, he was a samurai.
Character-wise, flavor-wise, he was a samurai, but in class choice, he didn't choose a samurai. I feel like he kind of missed out. A lot of people pick battle master because it's very versatile, and actually, it's one of the best fighter subclasses out there. Probably the top 3. But I think you're kind of sleeping on things like the samurai. When you choose the samurai, essentially you have chosen this path where you are unbreakable, and enemies within your path have to choose 2 things: yield or die. When you choose an archetype, you get proficiency when one of the skills of your choice: history, insight, performance, persuasion. Alternatively, you can also learn one language of your choice. You're well-knowledged. You know, you are disciplined. At 3rd level, you get a thing called Fighting Spirit. As a bonus action, on your turn, you can give yourself advantage in all weapon attack rolls until the end of your current turn. When you do so, you also gain 5 temporary hit points. The number of hit points increases when you reach certain levels in this class. You get 10 temporary hit points when you reach level 10, 15 temporary hit points when you reach level 15. Temporary hit points are just a bonus. The whole idea is that you get advantage on all of your attacks. Not just the first one, all of them. And you're a fighter, you get a lot of attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout, even to level 20, you get 3 uses of this per long rest. So it's almost like a kind of a badass version of kind of like action surge, where instead of getting multiple attacks, you get advantage attacks. So not that bad. 7th level, you get elegant counter or courtier. Wow,
Courier?
Let's see what Google has to say.
Courtier. Courtier.
Courier.
Courtier. There's a T in there.
Courtier?
Courtier. Sure.
Hooked on phonics, kids.
It's a person who attends a royal court as a champion or advisor to the king and queen. That's the definition. Don't make fun of me.
I mean, we've said it multiple times on our main campaign stream that, like, instead of asking Google, you'll turn around and ask me how to spell something or say something because you're like, you're faster.
Yes.
And I'm like, hooked on phonics.
Mm-hmm.
Teach kids how to read before they choose this stupid iPad, because if they can't read what's on the iPad, that ain't gonna help them.
Well, at 7th level, you get this ability. And your discipline and attention to detail allows you to excel in social situations. Whenever you make a persuasion check, you gain the bonus equal to your wisdom modifier. So you get an added bonus. And you also gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws.
You're gonna need that, because I haven't met too many fighters that have proficiency with wisdom saving
It
throws.
says here, if you already have proficiency in wisdom, you can always choose, as an alternative, intelligence or charisma.
I feel like I see more charismatic fighters than intelligent ones, unless like you really want your character a certain way.
Yeah, kind of feels that way. Fighters usually are the ones who are like, I want to fight, I want to drink, I want to lay to bed, and I want to fight again.
I ain't mad at it.
I mean, that's the way you choose it, sure. At 10th level, you get Tireless Spirit. When you roll initiative and you have no more uses of Fighting Spirit remaining, you regain 1 use.
It does sound like a beefcake bard, though.
A beefcake? What?
Bard.
Bard.
You're charismatic, you like to lay in the quote-unquote bed, but you can beat the shit out of somebody, so that's why I said it just sounds like a beefcake bard. Are you writing down beefcake bard?
No. You have a thing called Rapid Strike. This is at 15th level, so remember we were talking about how 15th level really needs to kind of upgrade itself, especially when compared to the Arcane Archer.
Well, that was just kind of sad.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. If you take the attack action on your turn, and you have advantage on the attack roll, against one of the targets, you forego the advantage for that roll and make an additional weapon attack against that creature. So, you can give yourself advantage, and you can say, fuck that, I've been hitting this guy without advantage regardless, I'm gonna hit him 4 times. You know what this means, right?
That's when your dice humbles you.
Yeah, but do you know what that means, right?
You thought wrong. No.
When you hit level 20, you can attack
8.
4 times.
Oh.
You can use this ability, you can attack 5 times. It says here that it doesn't cost an action or a bonus action, it just says as part of your action to do this, you can forgo it. If you wanted to, you can attack 5 times. Oh no, sorry, 10 times. You can attack 10 times.
Yeah, so that was double. That's I was like 8.
You can attack 10 times in a round. This is why I was thinking that Inosuke was sleeping on the samurai.
Hear that, Steve? Stacking shit.
Yeah, man. You could have been attacking 4 times in a round at your particular level.
I think the battle mastery was more of like his background for his character, because that's what they did, like train to fight dragons or whatever the hell it was. I forgot now. Sorry, Steve. But like, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I get why he did that. So it's like, I think true to form, it could have gone either way.
And the last ability you get at level 18 is Strength Before Death. Your fighting spirit can delay the grasp of death. If you take damage that reduces you to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to delay falling unconscious and immediately take an extra turn. So the moment you drop to 0 after the enemy's turn, it is immediately your turn again.
I said no.
While you still have 0 hit points during that extra turn, taking damage causes death saving throws failures as normal, and 3 death saving throws, basically kills you. When the extra turn ends, you fall unconscious and you still have 0 hit points. So, the idea, if you save your second wind, you can heal yourself, and you don't have to die.
You cannot die.
You cannot die. The final boss smashes you with its final hit, and you go down. Use your reaction to do Fighting Spirit. You stand back up. You attack, and then you have a bonus action. Second wind. You heal. You're still fucking standing. It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool thing. Don't sleep on a samurai, and you don't have to become the stereotypical samurai either.
Steve, it's giving you shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me yell, Temple! And then she normally happens to go into the chat.
Yeah.
And then she goes and gets Steve.
Well, let's see here. Let's go through 2 more.
Alright, go through the Rune Knight.
Any others you want to go through? There's the Psy Warrior, the Elder's Knight, the Echo Knight.
I think we went through the Psy Warrior
We
because
did.
it wasn't that in Tasha's.
It was.
Probably that one and the Rune Knight just because it's so new.
How about the Echo Knight? I don't think a lot of people talk about the Echo Knight.
Okay. Isn't that the thing that Matt helped make?
It is. It's
Or
a very
made.
interesting. It's a very interesting class.
Yeah, that one and the Psy Warrior. I think those are the 2 oddball ones that nobody really...
Do you want to talk about those 2?
Yeah, because I don't ever see anybody play them. Or like, okay. The people I watch, I haven't seen play them. I mean, I know of the Echo Knight, but I haven't seen anybody play it true to form, like as an actual character.
Well, when it came to Tasha's, a lot of what they were introducing was a lot of Psy abilities. Some sort of...
There's a lot of shit in Tasha's is broken. That's all I'm gonna say.
True, a lot of them was overpowered, but it's fun. Tasha's definitely made use of Psy abilities and sort of going back to like a psychic, back to what a Mystic was before Mystic was canceled out. And no one wants to play that because it's overpowered.
Yeah, I didn't play D&D in that era. I just hear about it.
Well, Psy, the Mystic was introduced in 5th edition, but it was only Unearthed Arcana. And the problem is that it made rogues broke. Like basically, like why would you ever play a rogue when you could just play a mystic? Why would you play a sorcerer when you could play mystic? Why would you play a fighter when you can mystic? Why play a cleric when you can play mystic? Because they could do everything. And it was so broken, so broken. I think it was the only class that had 26 pages dedicated to it. Yeah.
That's too much. That's a fucking manual.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I don't feel like that way, like with a general character, because I mean, if you wanted to actually learn, doesn't matter what the fuck the class is, I don't care if it's fighter, cleric, druid, whatever. Like, if you just wanted to read all your abilities through levels and then, like, memorize all your shit, trust me, that'd be a couple pages. It'd be a little manual.
Like, I think when Artificer was republished into Tasha's, including the subclasses, I think it was only like...
They're all like a couple pages, but they're
think it was
not
like
26.
I think it was like a max of 10 pages. And that is for
Still a
one whole
lot.
class and 5 different subclasses. The Mystic was like, it was one class with 3 subclasses, and it was 26 pages long.
Well, I don't know. I feel like druids could go on for a pretty long time.
Well, because they have so many subclasses. But I'm saying, like, compared to a Mystic where it was one class, 3 subclasses, 26 pages. Regardless. Psy Warrior. Psy Warriors are fighters that have put in a lot of high elf discipline in terms of their martial training, as well as it's generally used by Gith like Yankee, which is sort of an outer space elf. Yeah.
Is an outer space elf? That just leads more to...
Like an astral plane elf.
forgot where I was going with this. Doesn't Psy Warrior sound like something else? It sounds like something out of fucking Ninja Turtles. I can't remember why I recognize that name. Like it's like something from our, I hate to say it, something from our childhood that was like, Psy Warrior, what the fuck's that from? It's not D&D.
Psy Warrior, Psy Warrior.
So I'm wondering if it's copied off of that. I don't know, it just sounds familiar to me. For some reason my brain went Ninja Turtles, but my brain's broken.
It's like from a Saturday morning cartoon thing.
Yeah. Okay, well you talk, I Google.
It's fine. So Psy Warrior. At 3rd level, you get to harbor a wellspring of psychic energy, or psionics, excuse me.
Well, it's a movie.
It is?
It's a 1989 sci-fi movie.
Nice. So essentially, you have this thing called psionic energy die, which are D6s. You have a number equal these dies equal twice to your proficiency bonus. So you have 2. If you have a proficiency bonus of +2, you have 4 psionic energy dies.
Is that like superiority die?
It kind of is. It definitely is. So it's kind of bouncing off the idea of a superiority die. You have a number of uses of them, but instead of a D8, which I think is they don't move from that. They start at a D6. They move up to a D12 by level 17.
Okay, I've learned new things on the internet. Apparently, it's also a term for rugby players in Texas. Anyway, so I don't think it was that, but...
You can use your psionic energy dies in the following ways. You have Protective Field, where if you see another creature within 30 feet of you that takes damage, you can roll your psionic energy die and reduce the damage by that number. Plus your intelligence roll. So this is sort of a smart fighter.
You'd have to be.
Psionic Strike, you can propel your weapons with psionic force. Once on your turn, you can immediately after you hit a target within 30 feet of you with an attack action and dealt damage with that weapon, you can expend 1 psionic energy die and deal force damage to that creature equal to that die plus your intelligence. So you can hit and then poof, release some psionic energy and it'll do even more damage.
I feel like this is one of those things that you have to read.
Yeah, this required. If you're ever going to play a psionic warrior,
D&D in general, you have to read and do the maths. But I just feel like this one sounds like there's a lot of, and then.
Yeah. This is definitely this is dedicated to that one player who takes 10 minutes to finish their turn.
Hey man, I mean, like I think that's everybody in the beginning once you're learning your shit if you've never played that class before, but I feel like there's some people that got their shit down. Like their turn takes a little while, but they know like what does what and what they can all do like all one go. So I mean, there's those people too, but I think that's a gradual climb.
Yeah, that's true. I still think it's dedicated to those one classes where it's like I mix this ability with this ability and I have this ability and now it does this. It's like okay. The last thing you can do is telekinetic movement. You can move an object or creature with your mind. As an action, now it's a bonus action, it takes your action. You can target one loose object that is larger or smaller than, or one willing creature other than yourself, and you can move it. If it's within 30 feet of you, you can then move it another 30 feet to an unoccupied space. Yeah, move it.
I feel like this is an FE class.
It's kind of an FE class. By 7th level, you have a couple of more uses for your psionic powers. You can use Psi Powered Leap. You gain sort of a flying speed equal to twice your walking speed.
Man, imagine this mixed with a monk. It'd be great.
Yeah. You have Telekinetic Thrust. You can, if someone fails a strength saving throw,
that doesn't sound good.
You knock them prone. I know, it's your Telekinetic Thrust.
It's like, are you dry humping the air? In your direction.
That'd be really cool if you play like kind of a dirty fighter and you're like, and I'm gonna thrust you down because you put him on prone.
No, not like that. I meant like because we made the comment how like fighters like they go hit on the ladies once they're done.
Oh, I was talking the exact same thing.
Oh. But I was just like, what if you like air thrust in their direction? That's a mean ol'.
That's exactly the motion I did. But
again, a beefy bard.
Yeah, beefy bard. Bulwark of Force is something you get at 15th level. You can shield yourself and others with telekinetic force. As a bonus action, you could choose creatures that can include you, that you see within 30 feet of you, equal to your intelligence modifier. Each creature is protected by half cover for 1 minute.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Half cover is
+2?
+2. It's pretty good. And lastly, at 18th level, you get an ability called Telekinetic Master. You can cast the Telekinesis spell, requiring no components, and the spell is equal to your intelligence modifier. If you don't know what the Telekinesis thing is, I will find it in just a second.
I'm like, I know what like the concept is, I don't know what the spell is.
It is a 5th level spell in which you cast it. You can exert your will into one creature or object that you can see within range, and you can do one of the following. You can basically move it around, thrust it by. It can hold up to 1,000 pounds.
It kind of sounds like Dominate Person, but like more movement based.
It's movement based, yeah. You sweep them off with their feet. So what do you think of the Psy Warrior?
I feel like it's probably overpowered, but it would make for an interesting character.
Agreed. I feel like it's
I feel like you should play this like in a campaign themed kind of like for the Terminator and Skynet.
I think you...
Or Carrie, if you wanted to play a horror campaign.
That'd be pretty good.
That's kind of her deal.
Mm-hmm. If you ever feel like playing a Psy Warrior, please let your DM know beforehand.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is why I feel like this is an FU.
The DM will have to take some time to take that into consideration, because that's a lot of abilities, and it's a brand new class.
Yeah, but half the fun is not telling you and be surprised.
Oh boy.
I mean, I feel like most, unless you're like real beginning, like I haven't DM'd, but I've still worked with you on your thing. Like you told me this is what you want to do, this is how your character is, and you've changed it so many times, and I haven't even started the whole planning process yet, and I'm just like, hey. But I mean, like we do that differently. Like I'm not like a stickler with certain things that you are. I'm just like, I don't care as long as it's not something.
Hey, if that's the type of DM you want to be, that's the type of DM you get to be.
I work on the concept that I am more than capable of humbling your ass, so that's why I'm just like, I don't see, like you asked me and I'm like, I don't see that being an issue. If I can't humble it, then I get a problem. But
right. Let's talk about the last fighter in our lineup here, the Echo Knight. Now, yes, this is a class made by Matt Mercer.
that's not Natasha's, right? That's just his thing.
This is a class made for Matt Mercer within his book Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. A mysterious and feared frontline warrior of the Kreen dynasty, the Echo Knight has mastered the art of using Dudamus to summon fading shadows of unrealized timelines to aid them in battle. Surrounded by echoes of what might have been.
Hot boy.
So it's kind of the concept is that you're pulling from a timeline that's not being used, and you're pulling yourself, sort of a shadowed version of yourself, an echoed version of yourself to help you fight. I feel like this is very much like Noob Saibot.
Yeah. Can I pull a shadow version of myself to wake me up in the morning and do stuff?
It'd pull you out.
Yeah. Be like, hey, can you do stuff?
No, you do that to me. Well, at 3rd level, you get an ability called Manifest Echo. As a bonus action, you can magically manifest an echo of yourself in an unoccupied space that you can see within 50 feet of you. 15 feet.
Isn't it like, it doesn't look like you though, right? It's just like a shadow version of yourself?
I'm happy that you asked. It actually says here the echo is a magical, translucent gray image of you, and it lasts until it's destroyed.
Yeah, I always pictured it like a shadow, like an outline of yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of like a...
Like you know how there's that scene in Peter Pan where he's like fighting with this shadow? Like you could obviously tell it's him, but it's just his shadow, so it's just the outline, like that.
Have you ever seen the pictures, actually, like, of Shadow Link? Like, we have it on the wall.
I don't feel like that's Shadow Link. Oh, like his actual shadow?
Yeah, his actual shadow.
Yeah.
It's like that, or like a gray
Yeah, that's kind
scale.
of what I figured when he described it in person. I
like the idea, honestly. I think it's really fun. Your Echo has an AC 14 plus your proficiency bonus. So, if more you level up, the beefier your Echo is. It has only 1 hit point though, but it's immune to all conditions. So it can't be poisoned, it can't be grappled, it can't be restrained, it can't be petrified. If it has to make a saving throw, it uses your saving throw bonus for all the rolls. Its size is the same as you, and it occupies space. On your turn, you can mentally command the Echo to move 30 feet in any direction, no action required, and if your Echo is ever more than 30 feet from you, it is destroyed.
It kind of sounds like a similar thing from Duplicate.
It kind of is, right?
Except, like, Duplicate, it makes it look like you.
Yes.
And it can go, I think it can go a little further than 30 feet.
I think it can. I haven't looked into...
I think you can summon it further away from you, but then it moves 30 feet.
It moves on your bonus action.
Yeah.
I'm scared to tackle the Cleric because there are so many subclasses. I think that's going to be a 2-parter.
I think that's going to probably have to be a recorded thing, not a stream thing.
It could be a stream thing, but it just has to be multiple episodes because that's a lot. A lot of subclasses. Oh my god. Well, there's a few things you can do with your Echo once it's created. As a bonus action, you can teleport magically, swapping places with your Echo.
Sorry, I forgot I ate a rice cake right now, and I was like, where'd it go? Am I that tired?
So it costs 15 feet of your movement, regardless of the distance that you swap. So if it's 30 feet away from you, you can swap it, and it costs 15 feet of your movement to do so.
So you can essentially, like, face step with your Echo,
Yes.
but, like, not.
Yes,
Sorry.
you can.
Gonna hear clicking.
When you use your attack action on your turn, any attack you make with an action can originate from your space or the Echo space. So you can summon it.
So you can
50
cast
feet.
a spell through it?
I don't think you can do spells as an Echo Knight. It says here when you take an attack action, you make an attack. I guess it doesn't specify that it has to be a melee attack. Yeah, I suppose if you do multi-class into a spellcaster, you can cast a spell from it.
I think because that's what he did. What Caleb did when he got like the access to the Echo part of that, and then like he casted a spell through it, or
Yeah.
had it cast a spell.
Yeah, so I think you can do that. When a creature that you can see within 5 feet of your Echo moves at least 5 feet away from it, you can use your reaction to make an opportunity attack from the Echo space. So it's like a copy of you. It's essentially a copy of you.
I feel like it just furthers your reach.
Exactly. Essentially, you're fighting 2 fighters at that point.
Except one only has one hit
Yeah,
point.
it's only got 1 hit point. It's gonna go down.
That's a problem.
In addition to that, at 3rd level, you get Unleash Incarnation. You get to heighten your Echo's fury. Whenever you take an attack action, you can make 1 additional melee attack from your Echo's position. So if you and your Echo go into one enemy, you attack it once, your Echo can attack it once as well. And it just says you make an additional attack, so if you have the multi-attack, you attack, your Echo, attack. You can only use this number, you can always use this ability a number equal to your Constitution modifier.
Better be beefy then.
Better be beefy. At 7th level, you get Echo Avatar. You can temporarily transfer your consciousness into your Echo. As an action, you can see through your Echo's eyes, hear through its ears, and during this time you are deafened and blind. Essentially, you have yourself a familiar.
Yeah. I was gonna say, this sounds like a familiar.
It can be used up to 1,000 feet away without being destroyed now. Not bad.
Except I think even familiars get more than 1 hit point.
True. That's true. Very true.
So, I mean, maybe not like a whole lot more, but more than 1.
Oh, it can only go 1,000 feet when you use this ability. So, you better run back, because you only have 10 minutes.
Sorry.
At 10th level, you get Shadow Martyr. You can make your Echo
Something like you said, shadow murder.
a Shadow Martyr. You can make your Echo itself. You can make your Echo throw itself in front of an attack directed at another creature that you can see.
Just picturing a dude like throwing himself in front of a car, but then he's only got 1 hit point.
Before the attack roll is made, you can use your reaction to teleport the Echo into an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the targeted creature. The attack that rolls is made against the Echo instead of the targeting creature. So you get 1 shield. If it's about to hit you with a nat 20, you can go Shadow, fucking protect that guy. It'll it'll Secret Service jump into the
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Get shot and come down.
I was like, that's a fucked up job to have.
And the funny thing is, it's you. It's you from another timeline. You're telling yourself to go take the bullet.
Yeah, but nobody fucking sees that. They're just like some shadow things over there jumping in front of this.
It just teleports in like, I just killed a man. Who was it? Where did he go? There's 2 more abilities. At 15th level, you get Reclaim Potential. You've learned to absorb the fleeting magic of your echo. When an echo of yours is destroyed by taking damage, you can gain a number of temporary hit points equal 2d6 plus your con modifier, provided that you don't have any temporary hit points at the time. Your echo is going to be destroyed. Let's be very honest. You might as well benefit from it.
I was gonna say you're probably hoping for it at that point if you get those temporary hit points.
Yes. At that point, you're like, even if my guy martyrs himself, I'll get some temporary hit points from that.
See, it sounds like murder.
Martyr.
Martyr.
That's. I feel like if you're from the East Coast, it'll be hard to understand what that means. You're gonna be a martyr? You gonna get martyred?
See, that time I understood.
And the last ability you get at level 18 is that you can use a bonus action to create 2 echoes. When you use your Manifest Echo feature, these echoes can coexist, and you can create a 3rd echo. If you try to create a 3rd echo, the previous 2 are destroyed. Which I feel is super awesome, because now you can, without an action, you can command them to move 30 feet. You can swap between either one. You know, when it comes to the teleport ability, you can use a reaction to all of them, and when you use your attack action, they both get 1 additional attack. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, you get 6 attacks. And then if you use your action surge, you get an additional 4, you can do 10 attacks. You're on the same level as a samurai at that point.
I still feel like the Psy Warrior may be a little better.
I feel like it's a little more complicated, but I feel like the Echo Knight is very tricky. If I'm ever going to play a fighter again, I definitely want to play this one. I feel it's more fun. But there are a lot more fighter subclasses out there. We didn't cover the Battle Master, the Cavalier, the Champion, the Elder's Knight, or the Rune Knight, but that's going to be for another day.
Cavalier sounds like a cowboy.
It has proficiency with riding horses. That's the point of it. It's a horse riding fighter. It is the guy with a giant lance who is charging at you to take you off your fucking feet, or it's a cowboy with either like guns, if you allow guns in your D&D game, or crossbows, hand crossbows. Essentially, you're a horse rider. It has some cool abilities, but we'll talk about those next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. If you're watching this on VOD land, or if you're lurking in chat, we will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time.
Episode 29? We're almost to 30. Almost.
Ooh, I can tell you right now.
I do the schedule. I should know. I think it's 29.
I don't think we're at 29. I think we're at 30 right now.
We're not at 30. I know we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
We definitely are.
No, we're not. But then I did the schedule wrong because I don't think I put 30. Hold on. I'm cheeky.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Yeah, you wait. Hold on. Wait. Yep, I did the schedule. It is 30.
It definitely is.
I don't know how my brain does this half awake on Sundays or Mondays whenever I do the schedule because I'm the one that posts this, and then like later me on Fridays like, what episode are we?
To be honest, we do also hold a full-time job, and
yeah, I know we do all this other stuff sideways, but I'm just like, it amazes me that I can like have that all memorized, tell it to you, and then by the time Friday comes, I'm like, what are we doing?
All right, guys, we will check you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.